Years ago, when I ran for the US Senate in Florida, I gave a speech in Orlando. And of course, I've always been against the UN. I remember as a young intern working for Senator Richard Schweiker opening mail that said, "Get us out of the UN." The UN, United Nations, has always been a wet place that foreign spies could come, the terrorists can come. They work against the interests of the United States. We wind up paying the bill for these clowns to no avail. But now we have learned just this week, thanks to the Israeli government, that Hamas infiltrated the UN aid agency in Gaza. Hundreds, if not thousands, of UN workers working there as terrorists. They actually took part in the raid against Israel, which killed over 1,200 Israelis. And now we're working against Israel with regard to what was going on with regard to Gaza. The UN is a complete disgrace. It should not just that we get out of it, it should be completely shut down. Let them build a building in Gaza, be the place where they should be, and let's move on. It's not funny, but you have to laugh in some respects because that's how stupid Biden has been in fact, funding this UN agency in Gaza, where Trump has cut it off in the past. Let's talk about Republican hypocrisy as well, the rhinos on Capitol Hill in particular. They want to impeach Alessandro Mayorkas for what's going on at the border, the open border, and the threat from drug traffickers, human traffickers, sex traffickers, and terrorists. That's a way of copping out, because the person who's behind Mayorkas is Biden, and Biden should be impeached. Of course, you know that your Freedom Watch has gotten convictions against Biden and sentences of 20 years for negligent homicide in Afghanistan and bribery from communist China, Ukraine, and Russia. And while we're at it, the Republicans should be impeaching the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who's used his Gestapo of a Justice Department to terrorize the American people, particularly peaceful January 6 protesters. And let's impeach the judges as well of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. There's not one uncompromised and not corrupt judge on that court that are getting the protesters to get down on their knees to plead for forgiveness when they did nothing wrong. And recently, a judge that I used to have confidence in, Judge Royce Lambert, gave a peaceful protester another 60 days because he would not confess to a crime. It's an absolute outrage, and this country basically is on its knees. And I want you to go to freedomwatchusa.org, join us and support us. And we're not just doing things with regard to political corruption and government corruption, but also corruption economically. You know, the name of Freedom Watch, before I changed it many years ago after the Senate campaign, was the International Center for Economic Justice. We are pursuing justice with regard to the PGA Tour and its agents who have attempted to monopolize the golf industry. And just today they announced a deal with a sports group from Boston, which monopolizes it even further, pumping in $3 billion. By the way, who announced it? Tiger Woods. So I was supposed to depose yesterday, but it was postponed. This is part and parcel to what goes on in this country, is that there really is little justice anywhere, but we're seeking it, and we will get justice with regard to keeping competition alive in the golf industry, particularly with the new Live Golf League, which is creating competition. We will also fight the media, the fake news media, who defames anyone who criticizes the left. And some people call it the radical left. It's not the left, radical left, it's the left. The left is pure evil. The left are socialists, communists, atheists, radicals of every variety. They don't see things the way normal people see them. They see them through their own lens. And of course, as I pointed out last week, there have been studies done by reputable groups, reputable people in the field of medicine that have found that the left has more mental problems than conservatives. Well, we know that. We didn't need any studies to figure that one out. So this is my message for today. Go to freedomwatchusa.org. Contribute to our cause with tax-deductible contributions. We are your real Justice Department. You don't have a government Justice Department. It's a Gestapo. And as far as the clowns on Capitol Hill, the Republican court jesters, and the Democrats who are pure evil, they do not represent you, the American people. And that's the charade that goes on. It's all positioning. They just want to weaken Biden. They don't want to get rid of him. because they think they can beat him in the fall of 2024. Well, at the same time that they're doing that, they're stabbing Trump in the back, believe me. And if he hasn't figured that one out, he should have started a third party by now. In any event, I look forward to coming back and talking to you tomorrow with another special podcast. Remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves, and we better help ourselves soon because our country is slipping away. Thank you for listening to me.